Yahuwah is the awesome one, and there is none like him. We always win. He's our champion. Oh, Yahuwah is the awesome one, and there is none like him. With him we win. We always win. He's our champion. Oh, Yahuwah is the awesome one, and there is none like you. With you we win. You're our champion. With you we can lose. There is none like you. With you we win. You're our champion. With you we can lose. We always win. You're our champion. Our voice, we celebrate our champion. We sing hallelujah, hallelujah, for the King. We lift up, we sing hallelujah, hallelujah, for the King. Yahuwah is the awesome one. There is none like you. You're our champion. Always win. You're our champion. Oh, Yahuwah is the awesome one. You're our champion. Till we can't lose. We always win. You're our champion. There you. With you we win. You're our champion. We always win. You're our champion. Oh, we lift our hands. Our champion. Glory. We lift our hands. We lift our arms. We sing hallelujah, hallelujah. Yahuwah is the awesome. There is none like you. With you we win. You're our champion. You we can do. Yahuwah is the awesome one. There is none like you. With you we win. You're our champion. You we can do. with you we win. You're our champion. You're our champion. We celebrate on this Yom a time of rest, as it is our Sabbath, as we are celebrating Yom Teruah, the blowing of the trumpets. Once again, we are celebrating Yom Teruah. We sound to prepare us for the time of Yom Kippur, atonement. I am excited about what the Abba is doing in us and through us. And at this time, we're going to begin with the Baruch of the Torah, and immediately we're going to go into Baruch 1. Baruch is Yahuwah.
Baruch is Yahuwah.
The Baruch 1.
The Baruch 1.
For all eternity.
For all
us from all Torah.
and gave us his Torah.
Baruch
Baruch atah.
Yahuwah,
Yahuwah.
giver of the Torah.
Giver of the Torah.
And it is so.
And it is so.
Baruch atah.
Baruch
Yahuwah, giver of the Torah.
Giver of the Torah.
And it is so.
And it is so.
And it is so.
Aleph. I am Yahuwah, your power, which brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim from the bed of slavery. Bet you shall not make you of anything that is in Shemaim above, or that is in the earth beneath, the others upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that have me and keep my commandments. Gimel. You shall not take the name of Yahuwah, your power, and falsify it. For Yahuwah will not hold him guiltless that takes his name and empties it. Dalet, guard the Sabbath day to set it apart, as Yahuwah your power has commanded you. Seventh day is a Sabbath of you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your manservant, nor your maidservant, nor your ox, nor your ass, nor any of your cattle, nor your foreigner that is within your gates, that you were a servant in the land of Mitzrayim, and that Yahuwah your power brought you out of there through a mighty hand and by a stretched out arm. Therefore, Yahuwah your power commanded you to keep the Sabbath day. One, you shall not murder. Zain, neither shall you commit adultery. Ket, neither shall you steal. Tet, neither shall you bear false witness. Bet, his field, or his manservant, or his maidservant, his ox, or his ass, or anything that is your neighbor. These words Yahuwah spoken to all your assembly in the mount, out of the midst of the fire, of the cloud, and of the thick darkness with a great voice. And he added no more. And he wrote them in 2 tables of stone and delivered them unto me. And it is so.
And it is so. Devarim chapter 6, verses 1 to 18, and it reads, these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments which Yahuwah your power commanded to teach you, that you might do them in the land where you are going to enter and possess it, that you might fear Yahuwah your power to keep all his statutes and commandments, which are on all the yamim of your life, and that your yamim may be prolonged. Here, therefore, O Yasharal, the power of your Abbas has promised you in the land that flows with milk and honey. Shema Yasharal. Hear, Yahuwah, our supreme one. Yahuwah is Akkad. And you shall ahab Yahuwah your supreme. And when you walk by the up, and you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be as frontlets you did not build, houses full which you filled not, and wells dug which you did not dig, vineyards and olive trees which you did not plant. When you shall have eaten and be full, then beware lest you forget Yahuwah, which brought you forth out of the land of Mitzrayim, from the bed of slavery. You shall fear and serve him, and shall swear by his name. You shall not go after other power. Diligently keep the commandments of Yahuwah's testimonies and his statutes which he has commanded you. And you shall do that which is right in the sight of Yahuwah, that it may be well with you, and that you may go in and which he swore to your Abbas. And it is so.
And it is so.
All right, let's have another song, please. I was glad when they said unto me, 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 come let us go into the house. I will praise Him when they said unto me, when they said unto me, I will praise Him when they said unto me, come let us go into the house. I will praise Him when they said unto me, come let us go into the house. I will rejoice when they said unto me, I will rejoice when they said unto me, come let us go into the house. I will rejoice when they said unto me, I will rejoice when they said unto me, I will rejoice when they said unto me, come let us go. I will rejoice when they said unto me, I will rejoice when they said unto me, come let us go into the house. I will rejoice when they said unto me, I will rejoice when they said unto me, come let us go into the house. I was glad when they said unto me, I was glad when they said unto me, I was glad when they said unto me, come let us go into the house. I was glad when some letters go into that house. I was singing when they said unto me. I was singing when they said unto me. I was singing when they said, when they said unto me. Singing when they said, come let us go into that house. I was singing when they said unto me. I was singing when they said unto me. Come let us go into I was singing, go into that house. I was singing when they said unto me. I was singing when they said unto me. I was singing when they said unto me. Come let's go into the house. I was singing they said unto me. I was singing when they said unto me. I was singing when they said unto me. Don't let us go into that house. I was glad when they said unto me. I was glad when they said unto me. I was glad when they said unto me. Don't let I was glad when they said unto me. I was glad when they said unto me. Come let us go into the house. I was glad when they said unto me. I was glad when they said unto me. I was glad when they I was glad when they said unto me. I was glad when they said unto me. I was glad when they said unto me. I was dancing when they said unto me. I was dancing when they said unto me. Come let us go into the house. I was dancing when they said unto me. I was dancing when they said unto me. I was dancing when they said unto me. Come let us go into the house. I was dancing when they said unto me. I was dancing when they said unto me. I was dancing when they said unto me. Come let I was dancing when they said unto me. I was dancing when they said unto me. Come let us go into the house. I was dancing. I was dancing when they said unto me. Come let us go into the house. I was rejoicing when they said unto Come let us go into that house. Said unto me, come let us go into that house. I will rejoice when they said unto me. 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 Come let us go into that house. I will rejoice when they said. Rejoicing when they said unto me, come let us go into that house. Worthy to our sovereign. Once again, as we at this time, let us turn our attention to new theme, examining our lives for the time that is ahead of us. And it is so. And it is so. Verse 6 says, be strong and of a great courage for Abbas to give them. Only be you strong and very courageous, that you may observe to do according to all the Torah which Moshe, my servant, commanded you. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that you may prosper wherever you go. Verse 8, as I've tailored it to fit our time of personal confession. Repeat this with me. I will not let this scroll of the Torah.
I will not let this scroll of the Torah
depart out of my mouth.
For
then I shall make my way prosperous.
then I shall make my way prosperous.
And then I shall act wisely.
And then I shall act wisely.
Now look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, you shall act wisely. And you shall act wisely. Look at your other neighbor and tell your other neighbor, you shall act wisely.
And I shall act wisely.
I am determined.
I am determined
to act wisely.
to act wisely.
I am determined.
I am determined
to act wisely.
to act wisely.
Come on, I am determined.
I am determined
to act wisely.
to act
wisely. And it is so.
Let the power of Yahuwah rise among us. Let the power of Yahuwah rise. Let it rise. Let the power of Yahuwah rise among us. Let the power of Yahuwah, let the praises of our God. Oh, praises of our King. Rise among us, let it rise. Let the power of Yahuwah rise among us. Let the power of Yahuwah rise among us. Let the praises of our King rise among us. Let it rise. Oh, 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 let it rise. Let it rise. Let it rise. Let the power of Yahuwah rise. rise among us. Let the praises of our King rise among us. Let it rise. Let the power of Yahuwah rise among us. Yahuwah rise among us. Let the praises of our King rise among us. Let it rise. Oh, 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 let it rise. Oh, let it rise. Let it rise. Let the power of Yahuwah rise among us. Let the power of Yahuwah, let the praises of let the power of Yahuwah rise among us. Let the power of Yahuwah rise among us. Let the praises of our King rise. Let it rise. Oh, let it rise.
King, our sovereign, we praise you, we exalt you, we extol you, we praise you, because you're worthy, you're worthy, you're worthy. He's worthy of all praise, he's worthy of all esteem. We do celebrate him once again during this our time of Yom Teruah. All Abba is going to say to is to get Yasharal's attention. He has my he's worthy of all praise, he's worthy of all esteem. He kept us for such a time as this, and we do celebrate him on this time of rest, a time of Shabbat, a time from all our labor, and celebrate and commemorate this time. And it is so.
And it is so.
Mishlei 15:8, the sacrifices of the wicked is an abomination, hateful, and exceedingly offensive unto you, Abba Yahuwah, but the prayer of the upright, it is your delight. Mishlei 3:4, so shall you find great understanding and high esteem in the sight of man and Yahuwah. And it is so.
And it is so.
To heal him the counsel of the unrighteous, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful, but his delight is in the instructions of the Abba, and he doth meditate upon it. And it is so.
And so.
Ibram 11:6, but without belief it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to Abba Yahuwah must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. And it is so.
And it is so.
And it is so. Ayah 33:4, the Ruach giver.
He is a life giver.
And it is so.
And it is so.
Micah 3:8, but truly I am full of power by the Ruach HaKodesh of Yahuwah, and of judgment and of might, to declare unto Yaakov his transgressions, and to Yasharal his sins. And it 1 through everyone who believes that Yahush is the Mashiach has been born of Yahuwah. And everyone who ahaves the one bringing, having being begotten of Yahuwah, overcomes the world. And this is the overcoming that has overcome the world, our belief. Who is the one who overcomes the world? But he who believes that Yahush is the son of Yahuwah. This is the one that came by water and blood, Yahush Mashiach. Not only by water and blood. And it is the Ruach who bears witness, because the Ruach is the truth. If we receive the witness of men, the witness witness of Yahuwah is greater. Somebody say Yahuwah's witness is greater.
Yahuwah's witness is greater.
Because this is the witness of Yahuwah, which he has witnessed concerning his son. The one has given concerning his son. And this is the witness that Yahuwah has given us eternal life. And this life is in his son. He who possesses the son possesses life. He who does not possess the son of Yahuwah does not possess life. Believe in the name of that if we ask whatever according to his desire, he hears us. And if we know that he hears us, whatever important for us to understand that relationship is key. It is key and very important that we believe in him and believe that he is the Mashiach, and it is so.
Worthy, worthy. Yahuwah is worthy of my praise. Worthy, worthy. Yahuwah is worthy of my praise. I said he's worthy of my praise. Worthy of my praise. Yahuwah is worthy of my praise. Worthy, worthy. Yahuwah is worthy of my praise. Worthy, worthy. Yahuwah is worthy of my praise. I said, worthy. Yahuwah is worthy of my praise. Worthy, worthy. Yahuwah is worthy of my praise. I said, worthy of my worthy of my praise. Worthy of my praise. Yahuwah is worthy of my praise. Worthy, worthy. Worthy of my praise. Worthy of my praise. Yahuwah is worthy of my praise. Worthy of my praise. Worthy, worthy. Yahuwah is worthy of my praise. Worthy, worthy. Yahuwah is worthy of my praise. Worthy of my praise. Worthy of my praise. Yahuwah is worthy of my praise. Worthy, worthy. Yahuwah is worthy of my praise. Worthy, worthy. Yahuwah is worthy of my praise. Worthy of my praise. Worthy of my praise. Yahuwah is worthy of my praise. 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 You is worthy of my praise. Worthy of worthy, worthy, worthy. Worthy,
just like many of us do have you, but we take it with him and we convey it to the world or to our people. And so this is what they did as well. And so on to Yom, once again, lend me your ear and give me time so that I can show that the Mashiach did walk the face of the earth, and he was his presence was known during the time of the feast, and that he showed us an example that we are to show forth unto the nations. And so it is important that we grab a hold of this and not let it go. Why? Because so many are letting it go because of the information that is being put out there. One of the should we give the right and in this in order to bring forth truth for such a time as this. And so it is important that we understand the timing and understand what is taking place here. So once again, this is that time and this is that season that we are in, and we're going to celebrate and we're going to commemorate the feast times, and we're going to do everything within our power and within walking in obedience and following the Ruach HaKodesh to convey to you what she has conveyed to me and to us as a congregation, that we follow, that we meet with, that we truly do an examination of our lives. And so with that being said, as we are examining our lives, we also want to examine the life of Yahushua HaMashiach. During this time, you have to understand the feasts were very important to him. And this is what his mandate and his assignment, Bible to Yasharal. And so it is important that we understand the path that he took. And so with that being said, we're going to did in the earth. Understand, in order for them to have from where we left off, from on the other night with event 67. And this is where we're going to look at where Yahush invites Mattias and assorted the feast at his home. And this was the changing of the month. This is they were going into the new month. And so this is a time that they were having a feast. And so they're all here. And so we're going to peek into this combat that's taking place at this time. And it is so. We're going to look at it from three point of views. We're going to look at it from Matthew chapter 9. We're going to also look at Yahush, Moshe Yehukanim, which is Mark chapter 2, verses 14 through 22. And then Luca chapter 5, verses 27 through 39. And we're going to do some reading, and we're going to do a firm believer that's pliable or applicable to our lives. As we continually say, just because there is evidence there doesn't make it valid. We want evidence with proof, and with that proof, we want credible witnesses to bring forth these things. And so it's so important that we understand that we have credible witnesses and we have proof to back up our information. And so once again, I pray that you give me a little bit of your time and lend me your ear so that I can convey to you what has been conveyed to me. And it is so.
And it is so.
All right, when you have it, say it is so.
And it is so.
All right, we're going to begin with verse 9, and we're going to read all the way to verse 14. And it is so.
And it is so.
All right, let's read.
Matthew chapter 9, verse 9, verse 14. Coming from the NIV. As Yahushua went on from there, he saw a man named Matthew sitting at the tax collector's booth. Follow me, he told him. And Matthew and sinners came and ate with him and his disciples. Hearing this, Yahushua said, "It is not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. But go and righteous. How is it that we and the Pharisees fast, but your disciples?"
Let's look at this. Let's look at this. Let's examine this real quick. As Yahushua passed out of Kefar Nahum, he saw a man named Matthew. Now, if you know that, no fisherman, he just and he did so. You have to understand, he quit his job, his career, his profession, right then and there, and followed the Mashiach. In Matthew-Yahu's house, many publicans and sinners came and reclined with him and his disciples. Now they're eating and enjoying their time. Verse 11, when the Prussians saw it, they said to his disciples, "Why does?" When Yahush heard, he said to them, "Those who are whole do not need a physician, only those who are sick. Go you and learn what this means. I will have mercy and not sacrifice." So he's telling them, first of all, examine what's taking place here. Now I want to read this footnote to you. That is, and it's in Hosea 6 and not slaughtering, and in the knowledge of power more than burnt offerings. Now he challenges them, for I desire sacrifice and the knowledge of power more than burnt offerings. Yahushua again called them on this verse at the event 68 a week later in Matthew. And right now they have no compassion, just like we see unto y'all. Many have no compassion, they're not wrong. And Yehuda, that was the problem, bringing two houses together and making them one. Remember, the split came about under the why? Because there was bickering and fussing in the mix. So now that is passed on from generation to generation. Yehuda again seems to be right, while the other wants to make the other wrong. So this is what's taking place here. Are y'all following me?
Yes.
It's taking place, these people, because you got to understand, tax collectors were hated because they collected tax for who? For Rome. So they didn't like them at all. And so they had a major issue with them. But let's look at Yehukin and Moshe, Mark chapter 2, verses 14 through 22. And let's look at this even up.
Chapter 2. And as he passed by, he saw Levi follow him, his disciples. The scribes and Pharisees saw him eat with publicans and sinners. They said unto his disciples, how is it that he eats and drinks with publicans and sinners? When Yahush heard it, he said unto them, they that are whole have no need of the physician, but they that are sick. I came not to call the righteous, but and they come and say unto him, why do the disciples of Yehukin of the Pharisees fast, but we fast while the bridegroom is with the fast? But the Yamim will come when the bridegroom shall be taken away from them, and then shall they fast in those Yamim. No man also seweth a piece of new cloth on an old garment, else the new piece that filleth putteth new wine into old bottles, else the new wine does burst, the bottles and the wine is spilled, and the bottles will be marred.
At this, he's showing them, because they were so inquisitive, but they weren't inquisitive. You want to know, they want to be inquisitive, but them being inquisitive is only because they want to see if they can catch you up, or they were trying to catch Yahush up to see if he really knew what he was talking about. Now, and once again, and Yehukin and Moshe 2 and 14, as Yahush passed by, he saw a Levite, the son of Alphaeus, sitting at a toll booth, and he said to him, follow me. He arose and followed him. Once again, and when you see it from the different, see that there are things that are added in one verse, or one from one point of view that may not be seen in the other. But now they're showing you the history of Matit Yahu. Matit Yahu, once again, was Yashraelite. And so he was doing a job that was not his job. Are y'all following me?
Yes.
All right. Now, as Yahush reclined at the dinner table in his house, many publicans and sinners also reclined together with Yahush and his disciples. For there were many who followed him. When the sages, now watch this, many who followed him. So let's kind of go back a little bit. Are you following me? Because that's what they used to be. If I'm following in truth, then I'm no longer what? Walking in darkness. If I'm walking in his marvelous light, then I'm no longer in darkness. But because I'm walking in this truth now, because I used to be a Christian, are you following me? Inclined to believe this is what they were doing, calling them what they used to be, because now they are followers. Are you following me?
Yeah.
All right, now this is what it says. Drinks with publicans and sinners. When Yahush heard it, he said to them, those who are whole have no need of them, because they're the ones. Yeah. Only those who are sick. I came not to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance. So what is a sinner? One who is not what? Following the instructions of the Abba, following the Torah. Because remember, the breaking of Abba Yahuwah constitutes being Kadesh, or constitutes us walking in truth. us adhering to his instructions, us adhering and keeping the feast. And ahab Yahuwah, then we're going to do what he told us. And if we ahab him, then we're going to ahab the one he sent. And watch this. And all that is intertwined. You can't have one without the other. I can't say that I ahab his instructions and hate my brethren or my sisters. I can't do that. I can't say also, and it would be just like trying to putting a sock over the shoe. That's wrong, because you don't put
New agreeth not with the old. And no man putteth new wine into bottles, else the new wine will burst the bottle. Preserved. The old is better.
and he followed him. Now he rose up, left all, and followed him. The Levite made a great feast in his own home, in his own house, and a great company of publicans and others came and reclined with them. That now he realizes, find out, and probably because he was out of what? Order.
God.